Now we turn next to a small detail on an official document which has sparked a wider question about identity and geography in the Midwest. Pádraig from Shannon took to social media after his mother's renewed driver's licence listed her address as Tullyvarga, Shannon, Limerick. Now, we've all noticed over the years places like the Radisson Blu Hotel Spa listed as being Limerick, despite actually being located just over the border in Clare. Meanwhile, parts of the University of Limerick straddle the border, and even Shannon Airport in the past has incorrectly been referred to as being in Limerick. So are you sick of places in Clare being mistaken for being in Limerick? Do you live in a part of the Banner County that quite often gets mistaken for being in the Treaty County? I know I do. 086 1800 964 to get in touch with us on this. But let's chat with Pádraig. Pádraig, a very good morning to you.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks very much for being with us. So tell us more about the arrival of your mum's renewed licence and when you saw Tullyvarga, Shannon, Limerick, and this on an official document. What did you think?
It was. I nearly fell off the chair. I really couldn't believe it. My mother initially thought it was a mistake, and it really gave the address as Shannon Limerick. Now, my driver's licence says Shannon County Clare. My father's licence says the same thing. And now, what is also curious is that she actually went to renew the licence to Ennis, so there was no connection to Limerick. And I took up to Facebook after that, effectively not giving out, but I suppose pointing out at the fact that there is a theme, especially over the coming past years, that many places in Clare are now presented as being part of Limerick.
And look, you're preaching to the choir here, because I live down in South East Clare, and quite often it and the surrounding areas are mistaken for being in Limerick, which is, I know can annoy locals, but it is kind of understandable. The likes of Clonlara and places like that are on the border, but Shannon is some way into County Clare. Would that make it even more surprising that it was listed as being in Limerick?
Well, it would, but I suppose I appreciate that with the airport being sort of close to Limerick, and even one of my complaints was that in some of the presentation material that you come across internationally, perhaps, the airport is almost linked to Limerick, as if it was a Limerick airport. And there's very little recognition of the fact that it's actually in a different county. So the point I'm making is that as Limerick is getting bigger, and I think it's great, it's fantastic that the city of Limerick is becoming a bigger city, but I think that it will become a bigger issue in the coming years. Insofar as we will see certain areas that may appear as Limerick, but are not Limerick at all. So I think having this conversation now is important, because we will see this more often in the coming decades, in my view.
And you talk about Shannon Airport. We have seen ads in the past offering flights from Limerick to Heathrow, when of course we know the airport is in Shannon. And I guess when Clare has a lot of things it can be rightly proud of, the music, the culture, all the beautiful scenery all around the county as well, but the airport is one of the feathers in Clare's cap. It's and in Shannon town as well. That must really frustrate people locally.
Well, it does, of course, because I mean the airport is sort of Shannon people are very proud of the airport. The airport is sort of the primary thing that we have in the town. So any suggestion that the city or the airport is in Limerick City or belongs to Limerick City, it annoys people. It needlessly annoys people. So that's why I say that having this conversation now, as opposed to in the coming years. For example, there have been a talk of a train connection between Limerick City and the airport, and that's great. That would be fantastic, but I think that will even amplify the situations where people will sort of presume that, well, taking the train to Limerick Airport. So I think having this conversation now is very important. Also, I would say that it may create issues in relation to, for example, applying for mortgages and things like that. Every time you apply for a loan to a financial institution, you must do KYC. Now, imagine you have a bill, a utility bill that says Shannon County Clare, but your driver's license says Shannon Limerick. I can see little things like that, that it can potentially create practical difficulties as well.
Yeah, there's certainly potential for practical difficulties. I mean, do you think getting a document like that says Tullyvarga, Shannon, Limerick, Pádraig is an innocent mistake? Are you forgiving enough to see it as an innocent mistake, or have you just seen too many incidents of mistaking locations in Clare for Limerick to think that they're just mistakes?
Well, to be honest, from the reactions I've seen from the other people, it appears that there's a pattern. So I don't believe that this is an isolated incident, even though I have to say, in terms of my own observations, I have never seen a licence that would say Shannon Limerick. So perhaps maybe if other listeners would have that kind of licence, they might get in touch with you. Perhaps my mother is the only one. If it is a mistake, then really it's an innocent mistake. It can be fixed. But from the other reactions I've seen from the people, it looks like there seems to be a pattern also in relation to postal deliveries. In terms of a licence, it looks like it's more extreme, obviously. But as I said, she didn't go to Limerick to renew the licence. She went to Ennis. It's a very strange mistake indeed.
Does this also highlight county identity? Does it touch a nerve with people in Clare? Because I suppose, look, there is that rivalry with Limerick, be it on the sporting field or elsewhere, that it's you've county identity, but also seeing things that Clare can rightly be proud about being mistaken for being part of Limerick, which has enough to be blown its own trumpet about without being given recognition for things that are actually in Clare.
Oh, of course, exactly. I mean, people in Clare are very proud from being from Clare. So these, I suppose, mistakes, or let's call them admin errors, they needlessly cause tension. And again, it's something that I think can be easily fixed. And the most important thing, in my view, is that we talk about this right now, as opposed to years from now when this will just become normalised. And I really fear that this will become normalised. Shannon is in Clare, and that's it. It always will be in Clare. And there's no compromise on that. We just need to recognise the fact that there is a county boundary. I've made the point as well that a significant portion of the UL campus is now in Clare, and there is I think there's very little recognition of that. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that there is a county boundary, and that it is important. It is an important boundary.
Did you contact the licensing authority to clarify whether this was a mistake at all?
Not yet. It only happened on Thursday. My mum is now in Lanzarote. She's having a great time in Lanzarote right now.
Wait to make us feel jealous. And it's been raining every day this year, Pádraig. Thanks for that.
Yeah, so she's now in Lanzarote for the week. But I'll talk to her when she comes back, because I'm genuinely curious to find out, is it a mistake or is it something that it's a policy issue? And perhaps it is an innocent mistake. But again, something tells me that it probably isn't.
Okay, we will watch the space, and we'll put it out there to listeners. Like I said, this has happened with Pádraig and his mum. I live in South East Clare, and places like Clonlara, Westbury, Chanamanx, all those kind of places, regularly mistaken for being in Limerick. Does it frustrate you when you see your part of Clare being incorrectly listed as being in Limerick, or when things like Shannon Airport are incorrectly given over to Limerick?